Hello, and welcome to the BL Express BL Week in Review. I am BL Songbird. Join me as I chat on and on and on about everything BL that happened this week. Actually, probably not everything, but we'll at least talk about what started, what ended, and the things coming up, as well as any tidbits that amused me this week. Actually, today might actually be a little bit short, to be honest, because not very much went on this week, I will admit. Um, but in the meantime, don't forget to like, subscribe, I don't know, maybe leave a comment. Anyways, this live stream that will be a podcast later is set up in an audience Q&A format. So don't forget to turn on your live chat and join the conversation. I look forward to speaking with all of you. Anyways, okay, so I thought I'd start out today with a couple of personal news items. I have some life updates I wanted to let you guys know about. First of all, it's summer break, everybody. I am a teacher, and this is my 4th day on summer vacation. So, celebration, right? Shout out to me. This year actually feels like I'm going to get a real break too. For various reasons, the last few years have felt like one very long school year as far as stress goes. So I'm excited about that. Another thing that is happening is that I am posting more on my YouTube channel. Yeah, I have my own channel. It's true. But I like spending time with you guys here on this one. So don't forget to check that out. Also, I have started a Patreon account, and I am up and running over there. There's some fun perks and benefits, even if you don't have the ability to commit to anything at this point in time. I would love feedback on the overall setup of the account and the perks that are offered, to see if you think they're cool, if you think it would be worth it to people, those kinds of questions I would love answers to. So thank you in advance. If you have the opportunity, I will check back here for comments on that, if you guys have the moment to check it out. Anyways, okay. So, quick reminder, I always place spoiler heavy content at the end. So if there happens to be any spoilers, those will go then. No worries about most of this live. Most of this live will be spoiler free. I'm wondering if the chat isn't working, because normally by this time people are chatting away. So now I'm just like, is it not working? All messages are visible. Huh. Well, let me know. I don't know how you'd let me know if it's not working. I guess shoot me a message on a different social media platform. What if I closed this out and see? Hi everybody. Okay. Maybe it's not working. All right, let me see here. Pop out chat again. Hello, hello. There's a couple of people. Yay. I was wondering, and maybe it wasn't working, and now your messages are coming through. So that's awesome. Good to chat with you, everybody. Awesome. Okay. So, onwards. Onwards to the week in review. Yay, Pammy, nice to see you. Delori, and nice to see you again. And we have a new user. Hello, nice to meet you. Awesome. I am going to go ahead and say that today we are going to chat about, at the end about Fight for You, which is a Taiwan BL series that just finished this last week. We'll also talk a little bit about Sweet Tooth Good Dentist. But let's go ahead and start with the one series that's coming this week. I have to say, everybody, that Japanese BLs, or JBLs as we affectionately call them, are making a comeback. There are so many series announcements happening in the JBL world. It's kind of cool. So those who like Japanese BL, this is going to be your couple of months. I feel like we had a bit of a break there. So yeah, it was awesome. I became the lead of a BL drama. It is a series that aired actually not too long ago, really. I'm trying to remember when season one wrapped up. I feel like it might have even been the end of last year. Anyways, we have season two. Season two is starting on Friday, June 13th on Gaga Ulala. So, yay, Japanese BL. And on a side note, if anyone is watching Two Husbands, One Wife on Netflix, that one is highly entertaining. I'm throwing that one out there. It's almost over, and I haven't been talking about it anywhere. I'm reacting a little bit on my Patreon about it, like just with text messages in a Discord channel. But Two Husbands, One Wife is about a threesome, a trio, if you will, and very, very strongly so. Like there is a BL element to the series because it is a truly a threesome. So that one is pretty entertaining. Two Husbands, One Wife. You could check that out on Netflix if you want to experience something a little bit different. All right. So I became the lead of a BL drama too. Uh, the first one was set in like the BL drama world, right? Because I became the lead of a BL drama is literally what it sounds like. A guy, a kid, a young man becomes the lead in a BL drama, and falls in love with his co-star, and there's questions about whether it's reality or whether it's like him taking on the persona of his character going home. And so season two is going to be a continuation of that story, so that'll be really fun. The series that did begin this last week. Actually, before I continue, let me check out the comments. I love how the Japanese language sounds. Yes, it's a really beautiful language. I love how it sounds as well. Super cool. Gets pen and paper ready to write them down. Love it. Yes, get your pen and paper ready. Here we go. Okay. Just recently watched season one. Looking forward to season two. I was looking for season one because I kind of wanted to rewatch it, honestly. Now that it's summer vacation, I have all this time, but like, I don't know where to find it. I thought it was on Gaga Ulala, but it doesn't seem to be there anymore. So if you could put it in the comments where you watched it, that would be awesome. Um, I really liked that one. I'm very excited to hear it's getting a sequel. Same. I felt like the story, DeLorean, was very short, so I'm very happy as well that it's getting a sequel. Okay, so I'm an entire year off. Oh my goodness. Season one aired from December to 2023 to January 2024. How did I miss a whole year? Beats me. Yeah, okay. Hey, I was right about it being at the end of a year, though. That's kind of hilarious. Okay, I'll have to rewatch the first one again. I became a lead of a BL drama. I vaguely remember it. It was on Gaga Ulala. Okay, it was. I was right. Then why couldn't I find it? I don't know. I don't. Okay, I'll have to look again. Maybe I just missed it somehow. Maybe I worded the title wrong. There's a variety of ways that things don't show up in search results. Okay, so The series that began this last week. We talked about it a little bit last Tuesday, but I thought I'd rehash it again a bit because now there's been two episodes and I feel like there's a little bit of a stronger, like, understanding and knowledge of where the plot is going. And that is Reset. Reset airs on Mondays on HEE. IHEE. I feel like I've heard that pronounced so many ways now. Anyways, yes. So Reset is got a really solid foundation now that the first two episodes have aired. Um, and I think that Pada is like really interesting and mysterious. And I have lots and lots of questions because it almost feels like he knows more than he should. And he had very little surprise at anything that Pada and it starts with an A. Armin. Tada and Armin. Armin, he wasn't surprised at anything he had to say. And I think that's like as spoiler heavy as I'm going to get with that. But I'm curious about Tada, and I think that particular show is going to be really strong. Hopefully. Time playing with time is hard, right? Because like you have to keep a lot of things straight. You have to like if you go back in time and oh my gosh, you're using the butterfly effect and you're like changing things and that changes the future, then how is the future changed? And like at the beginning of the show, are you going to make it subtly different? Are you going to make it the same? Are you going to visit the future again and it's going to look very different? Like there's so many things that could go wrong with time travel. So I have my fingers crossed for them, but they do have a nice solid foundation for that series. And I have to say that these kinds of series are fun to watch in real time, especially if you're chatting and participating a little bit in social media because it it um it creates a lot of conversation around it, right? So if you like talking about BL, then watching it in real time and responding to people's messages that they put on social media is super fun. And if you're like overwhelmed by some platforms, then I would actually recommend Blue Sky as a platform because Blue Sky is a little bit of a smaller BL community and like it feels a little bit more homey and personable and you get to know people a little bit more. So, if you're feeling shy and nervous about like participating in social media and finding your people, then maybe try that platform for something a little bit more intimate. Okay, so Reset recommended to watch in real time just because the conversation will be fun. The other one that started this last week and will be airing, it looks like 2 episodes per week on Thursdays, is Ball Boy Tactics. We've got a Korean BL and we've got a college BL, a Korean college BL. And it's it's got the shy boy extrovert vibe and like the shy boy is extra shy and the extrovert is extra extrovert. So we've got these like polar extremes which makes for entertaining TV series. Also, I find it fascinating that one is an ex gymnast, and so he's kind of on the tiny side, and then the other one is a basketball player, so not on the tiny side. So that part's fun too, if you like height dynamics, just for like the visual effect of the whole thing. So yeah, Ball Boy Tactics airs on Thursdays. All right, let's check out the comments again. I feel like the comments are more, which is super fun. And my fingers and my mouse suck. Okay, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, let's see here. Reset has been fabulous so far. Yes, DeLorean, I agree. Pammy, Reset is on my list, but I'm waiting because I want to binge watch it. I love binge watching. It's true. Binging is fun. Armin, okay, I think I got it right eventually. Does it give 4 minutes vibes? No. It's it's not actually, oddly enough, it's not quite as dark as 4 minute. 4 minute I feel like is super dark. Reset, there it has some like kind of nasty entertainment industry elements, but it's not as gritty and dark as 4 minute, in my humble opinion. I'm late, but I'm here. Hi, Katie. Good to see you. It's so fun to theorize, and until something is definitely ruled out, anything goes. Yes, that is the fun of a show like Reset, watching it in real time on social media, DeLorean. I am enjoying Reset. Yes, absolutely. Ball Boy Tactics was very cute. I enjoyed the first 2 episodes. I did too. OMG, I'm loving Ball Boy Tactics so far. I'm a sucker for height difference and the introvert extrovert dynamic. Right? Absolutely, Pammy. Loved Ball Boy Tactics. It was so homey, like everything just fit. I almost read that wrong. I am very glad I had my glasses because if I didn't, I really would have read that wrong. Glad I didn't. Okay. I'm excited to see more of it. Awesome. Yes. So Ball Boy Tactics is another one. I don't think it, and actually Ball Boy Tactics might be more fun if you waited to binge watch it, to be honest. It's one of those series that yeah, I think would be very enjoyable binged. Absolutely 100% very enjoyable binged. So, I want to also call a shout out, if you will, to Gaga Ulala real quick. I'm only putting new series that are beginning here in this like live. But if you go to Gaga, they have a whole bunch of new series coming out this month. They're just not necessarily new, right? They're old series that they're bringing up again. So, but so many choices. So this might be the month for a Gaga subscription, especially since they're doing, Pride discounts and stuff like that. So yeah, I've said so a lot. But nevertheless, I thought I'd throw that out there because if you like binging series, then, and like, I don't know, are curious about some of these older ones, I actually haven't heard of some of the titles myself, so I might end up watching them too. Those won't go on regular social media though. I'll just be posting comments in the Discord channel for Patreon. Like, there's only so much to watch, right? There's only so many things that I can do and like so much time. But lots of extras on Gaga. And finally, 2 series ended last week that I'm aware of. The first one, I'm sure we all have a little bit of something to say about it because of what Mark said, and that is Sweet Tooth Good Dentist. Sweet Tooth Good Dentist ended last Friday. It's now ready to binge. This country, it's on Ichi, and it didn't get quite the fanfare that the main actors were hoping it would. But, it got a solid representation on X every week. Over 100,000 tweets isn't anything to laugh at necessarily. And I very quietly, not on social media, finished the show too. Just because, supporting Mark. And I do have to say that it had a really lovely ending, that series did. The second half was better than the first half. And I don't know if you're bored one weekend, maybe give it a watch. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited because I think that Mark and Ohm had excellent chemistry together, and I'm super interested to see what they do next time. Because I think it could be strong. Absolutely, 100%. They're removing my Minato's laundromat, and I'm extremely sad about it. Good to know, Pammy. I actually ended up really enjoying that show. I binged season 1 and then watched season 2 in real time. That was fun. That was a good one. I actually liked the last episode. It had some very funny lines, right? Yeah, the last episode was pretty sweet, and C of Jimmy C having a little cameo there was also very cute. Agreed that the second half was better. They could have shortened it by 2 or so episodes. Yeah, absolutely. That series could have been a couple of episodes shorter, and I think still finished strong. Absolutely. Sweet Tooth is in the top 13 still on IG. I'm glad. I'm glad because even though um even though it didn't get as like much hype on X, people are still watching it. And I saw somebody speaking to it on TikTok, and they were saying how it almost seems to have gotten a little bit more hype since Mark said that. It's like, well, maybe we'll go check it out after all, you know? And those who dropped it early on because, well, the first half of the show had some vibes that didn't quite fit maybe our older age group. It felt more for like a teenage age group. Um, and all of us older folks were like, well, this isn't for us really. Like, this is not quite like what we would ever watch. The second half of the show was a little bit more like something our generation would watch, which is really interesting because um, that might be where it went astray slightly, right? It tried to do too many things. It tried to appeal to too many audiences, and it might have needed to pick one, maybe. It's just a thought though. I'm not sure. I'm not like saying this or that for sure. Like, right? Because at the end of the day, these are all our opinions, and each of us have our own unique thoughts about it. But my one thought was like, we have these things that would appeal to teenagers, probably. And then we have these other things that would appeal to us. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what episode you would start on if you were only going to watch the second half of the show, though. Or if there was anything to skip to still enjoy it. I think it's one of those things you just kind of like fast forward through the bits that drive you crazy and enjoy the rest of it, right? All right. Not going to linger too long on Sweet Tooth Good Dentist. Okay, Cericia agreed that the second half was better. They could have shortened it by. Okay, I did read that. Sweet Tooth is in the. Yep, read that. Okay, I agree. Second half was stronger than the first. I think they tried too hard to lead with comedy in the beginning because they knew they had serious stuff coming in the later half. Loved the cameos. Maybe the comedy just was so teenage focused. Yeah, it was light. It was like the comedic elements were for a younger audience. And then the later elements were for an older audience. So yeah, but that's why we ended up enjoying it more if we made it through to the second half of the show. Okay, so and actually, oddly enough, this is the main show of the evening. I would never have thought I would be saying this right now after having seen the first episode, and that is Fight for You. Fight for You is a Taiwanese BL. It is on Gaga Ulala, Ichii, and Vicky, all of the places. I can't miss it kind of situation. And if you gave up on episode 1, I would completely understand because episode 1 of Fight for You was a hot mess. And you actually kind of had to watch episode 2. Thank goodness they put both episodes out the same week, back to back. You had to watch episode 2 to really get into the story. But after that, the series took off, guys. Like, I don't know. I watched it first every Friday. Of all the choices available, even towards the end when there were a lot more choices, I watched Fight for You first because it put a smile on my face every Friday morning, and it was the last day of the work week, and I just needed to smile. So I actually would recommend watching Fight for You. I think as a binge watch, it would be really, really fun. 100% really fun. Um, what did you guys think? Did any of you guys make it past episode one? Are you waiting to binge it? Did you watch it already? And I'm going to throw out there, like, what did you think of the vibe of the series? Because the vibe, I, th- I think the series primarily was a vibe, to be honest. Like that was what it was. It had a plot. The plot was actually really solid. After episode one, it jumped right in, and from there on out, like we had a pretty solid, like pretty solid little plot going, guys. And the main leads just they were so cute. Yeah. See, I'm still smiling. Dahe. Okay, made these Taiwanese names. Okay, Dahe and Xiao Bai were adorable. Xiao Bai specifically, actually, he was like such an interesting character. Okay, all right. I'm jumping ahead of myself. Plot. Uh, my funny little plot summaries that I do for you guys. Okay, so Fight for You is a story. You know why they're funny? Side note. Do you know why they're funny? Because I do not write anything down. I just come up with it off the top of my head as we're sitting here in this live, which is probably why they end up being kind of amusing, to be honest. Okay. Side note aside. Plot premise. Xiao Bai is a inept detective working for, like, I don't know, an FBI type organization, whatever the Taiwanese equivalent is. Secret Service, not Secret Service. Intelligence agency of some sort. Anyway, he's like police force. He's gone undercover to keep an eye on this house that basically will do anything for anybody, up to and including illegal things. He does this by following this newbie member of said convenience house, Dahe, and like it's a setup of them living in the same space together. So almost a forced proximity kind of situation going on. And then it just escalates from there. That's the premise of the story. Inept detective, and honestly, Dahe is an inept convenient house worker as well. Like he's just not very good at it. Neither of them are very good at their respective jobs. Dahe happens to be very sweet and loving, and especially towards his family, and he pulls at Xiao Bai's heartstrings so much. And then it just, everything goes from there. And you have to watch it to know what happens next, right? Because that's how these things go. All right. Anyways, the vibe. The vibe is amusement, funny would be the vibe. Funny. It's a comedy. It's a comedy of errors, even, if you will. And but on the underside has a really strong, like, familial feeling. Yeah, like found family, like they found each other and they knew that that was where they were supposed to be. All right. Let's see what people have in the comments right now. I really liked Fight for You. It was adorable. Yes. Fight for You was surprisingly sweet after the almost awkward beginning. Yes, I agree with you. Awesome. I really enjoyed Fight for You. It was so sweet and adorable. The first episode is brutal. Ah, yeah, this pretty much sums it up. You really have to be willing to fight beyond that first episode. to really enjoy that series. Yes, that Xiao Bai reminded me of Cow Tongue. So cute. Oh, I could see that. Absolutely. Got more intriguing as it went along. Absolutely. Just the intrigue began to build as it went along. What were your favorite characters, guys? My favorite character was you guys were on Xiao Bai. Does that mean Xiao Bai was your favorite? Or did you have somebody different that you really enjoyed? Because I actually lean towards Dahe as my favorite character. Just his steadfastness, his willingness to like persevere against all odds to help his family. And in the end, then Xiao Bai is included in the things that he loves, right? So he perseveres to be with him as well. I think okay, so this is where the spoilers come in, guys, at this point. So if you haven't seen it and you don't like spoilers, this might be your moment because I'm going to be talking about some more specific moments from here on out. For one thing, okay, so for one thing, like he just was willing to uh he was willing to kneel in front of Xiao Bai's grandfather's house for however long, and then his grandmother, Dahe's grandmother, comes in, and Dahe's grandmother is just this powerhouse woman. I You don't realize it quite so much early on what a powerhouse woman she is, but it becomes very clear in that episode what a powerhouse woman she is, and like really at the end of the day, she was the reason that they ended up getting to be together. But Dahe, I admired his perseverance in that. However, I do have a side comment about this too, and that is how on earth did he like kneel there for however many hours he kneeled there and get up so easily? Was he just young, or is it just me? I can't even imagine kneeling for like 20 or 30 minutes without dying. Maybe not literally dying, but like my legs would go to sleep and like my knees would creak. And I would have had this problem when I was younger too. It's not just an age thing for me. Like I can't even imagine. It's not just the show either. What is it? I mean, they kneel in front of houses, and I know it was like, what did somebody say? Because I think I mentioned this on social media. They said something like it's like really important to apologizing is really important in the Asian cultures, something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing, so if I get it slightly wrong, I apologize. But apologizing is important, and so like being on your knees in front of a house is a really strong way of apologizing, and it's true, and it's in a lot of Asian shows. But I still wonder how everybody gets up. I really do. I have no idea. Um. Okay. Anyways, Dahe also has the little sister who is just so adorable, and he has the heart problems, and the heart problems like everything is solved in the final episode rather rapidly via montage. If I had one criticism other than making it through episode 1, it would maybe be that like if you were invested in the characters, you might have wanted another couple of episodes. However, if the characters were like, well, they were okay, you might have been okay with the final episode montage. For me, because I kind of really enjoyed everybody a lot, the ending was rushed, which is pretty common. Ending is hard. Speaking from as a writer who's attempted to end a book before, the ending is like almost heart poundingly anxiousness hard. Like it's so hard to end a story. So even though I'm super critical of endings, I also understand. And they chose to go the montage route for this ending. Um, lots of happiness, lots of kissing, lots of joy. everything turns out the way it's supposed to. Can you call it an HEA, which I learned this year means happily ever after? Yes, I think you could call Fight for You an HEA for sure. I wanted more of the brother and his men. Oh man. That would have been fun, actually. You're talking about Xiao Bai's brother and his men? Was it men or was it the police captain that was the middle? It was the police captain that was the middle. I remember this now. But yeah, Zhao Pai's brother and his man, and the police captain and his men. It would have been fun to have that story a little bit more. Um, I get that it wasn't the focus of this plot, though. I'm kind of glad that it was on the side and we got an adequate amount because honestly, there's just not wasn't enough time for that. But it'd be cool if they like did a season two or something and then put that in a season two. That would be cool. Finding out grandma was a badass was fun. Yes. Yes, it was. That might have been one of my favorite moments of the series. I love it when they serve, like the grandparents come and they're just like amazing, you know? It's pretty cool. Beyond the leads, I really liked the grandmother. She never reacted like anyone assumed. That woman had a lot of secrets, right? Okay. I accept everybody. I'm going to go with an agreement here. I agree. The grandmother, if it's not one of the primary characters, the grandmother would be my favorite secondary character for sure because yeah, she's just like accepting of those two. And then she is just wise. You know, she has a lot of wisdom. She leads them in good directions. She's got a really strong character, personality, and she can kick some butt. The grandfather drove me nuts. 1000%. Really liked the brother too. Xiao Bai and his brother Da Bai were my favorite, and of course the grandmother. Yes. Most definitely a very fluffy ending. Endings are their way to say goodbye, and when they do a montage, it sometimes feels as like a thank you for coming along this journey. You know what? I kind of love that, Pammy. It's a good point. A thank you for coming on this journey. And honestly, I will give this plot a heck of a lot of credit because the climax for this story was not a dreaded episode 11. Rather, the climax and all of the awfulness happened in like episode 9 and maybe part of episode 10. And after that, like they did a really lovely job of bringing us down. Nice and gently and easily tail landing. So, they broke the mold of your classic episode 11, which is also amazing. I was like, wait, all of this is happening now? It's only episode 9? That means we're going to not have a rushed ending. So when you say that, like, episode 12 was like a goodbye, maybe you could see it that way. Like, the end of episode 11 could have been the end of the series, really. And in this particular series, episode 12 was like, thank you. I love that. That's a good way to put it because and Pammy, you helped me remember that like the one of the most gratifying parts of this show was that the climax was early enough to really have a solid landing at the end. Very, very, very solid landing at the end. Oh, oh my goodness, guys. Okay. It wasn't sure if no sir, no sir. Oh yeah, that I could never quite get over. Was that his real name? I think I will ever forever be curious about that because I feel like he was just kind of making a joke. No, sir. It wasn't sure if No Sir and Dabai were already together or if that was new at the end. I wasn't sure if No Sir and Dao Kei would end up getting back together at the end. Fair. I I think that let me get the word. No, sir, and Dabai had a situationship. That was my personal opinion on that. I don't think they were actually together But maybe they were because No Sir did say to Dao Kei, Do Kei, in one of the episodes, he did say something like, um, I'm not going to go back anymore. And then he said to Dao Bai, you can be at ease now. That really is over, or something along those lines. So maybe it was more than a situationship. Here I am already going back on my words, not just like only 2 minutes later. You guys bear with me. Okay, let's see. I was confused at the end if Xiao Bai actually knew his brother and knows who were dating. It was hard to say. Yeah, very true. Hard to say. No Sir's name was Bu Xing, according to MBTL, but I don't remember anyone ever using it. Bu Xing. Okay, good to know. Awesome. Oh, oh, guys, this was a lovely chat, and I think that anybody who watches this will like be curious about this show that didn't get as much hype as some of the Thailand shows, and maybe go watch it. At least I hope they will, because Fight for You was super fun and worth checking out. All right. I said we were going to leave early. It's kind of early. It's 6:41. This went longer than I thought it was going to. But it was great chatting with everybody. Lovely, lively chat in the live chat, and I will talk to you all next week, where we will be reviewing. Honestly, guys, I don't think anything's ending this week. Maybe I'll pick one of the shows that like is really strong that a lot of people are watching, and we'll just chat about that. Maybe we'll have. Oh, you know what's happening this weekend? The Next Prince is having like a major mid-series like special screening, and rumor has it that the episode is movie length. So maybe we'll chat about the Next Prince next time at the very least. That might be fun. Do like a mid-show recap, if you will. All right, guys. Until next time, have a good evening, and I will see you live next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here on the BL Express YouTube channel. Bye. Hearts, and love you all. Talk to you soon.